All right, guys, so I usually don't talk about foreign countries and their politics too often on this channel. However, I gotta talk about this particular foreign leader because it's pretty close to home. And this foreign leader is borrowing from some of the mainstream liberal media and the Democrat politicians here in America in regards to how they demonize the unvaccinated, right? How they're trying to convince unvaccinated people to get vaccinated. And the leader that we're talking about today is no other than Mr. Justin Trudeau, the Prime Minister of Canada, right? The neighbor that's north of the border, who decided to call unvaccinated people racist and misogynist in an effort to convince them to actually get vaccinated. Take a look.
Oui, on va s'en sortir de cette pandémie par la vaccination. Puis on en connaît tous des gens qui sont en train d'hésiter un petit peu. On va continuer d'essayer de les convaincre. Mais il y a aussi des gens qui sont farouchement opposés à la vaccination.
Qui sont extrémistes.
Qui ne croient pas dans la science, qui sont souvent misogynes, souvent racistes aussi. C'est un petit groupe, mais qui prend de la place. Et là, il faut faire un choix en tant que leader, en tant que pays. Est-ce qu'on tolère ces gens-là ou est-ce qu'on dit, ben voyons, la plupart des gens, presque 80% des Québécois ont fait ce qu'il fallait faire, se sont fait vacciner, on veut revenir aux choses qu'on aime faire. C'est pas ces gens-là qui vont nous bloquer. Maintenant...
Bruh, the irony of the things he's saying, I'm going to tell you in a minute. But first, let me give my disclaimer. Just because this is a heavy COVID conversation, vaccine conversation, I'm not making claims about the virus, the vaccine, the pandemic. I'm not making any claims whatsoever about those things. This conversation is simply about public policy and public policy only. If you have any questions about the virus, the vaccine, the pandemic, please consult your doctor. Please talk to your medical professional about these things if you have questions. Now, I find it interesting, right, how Justin Trudeau calls unvaccinated people racist, misogynistic extremists, right, in an effort to get them to take the vaccine, right? As if berating people and calling them names is going to convince them to agree with you, right? I don't know why, but leftists seem to feel like it's okay to call people racist, sexist, misogynistic people simply if you disagree with them. What I find particularly interesting about this coming from Justin Trudeau is the fact that he's calling people racist, and he's the same dude that did blackface, right? Now, me personally, I really don't care about blackface. However, those people on the left, people like him, the woke revolutionaries of the world, they say that blackface is racist, right? But he was caught doing it. But yeah, he's trying to call other people racist. And I'm not sure how many black people Canada has. Probably not that many, but they probably have some. And I'm pretty sure there's some that are not vaccinated in Canada. I wonder would he classify those people, or any person that's non-white, would he classify them as racist? Okay? And I'm not saying they can't be. I'm just saying, you know, the woke left, they seem to believe that non-white people can't be racist, right? And when you classify unvaccinated people as racist, that also includes people who are non-white who are unvaccinated, right? So I wonder, would he classify those people as racist, or he's just trying to smear a certain group of people, right? Same thing when it comes to the whole misogynistic comment, right? I'm sure there are women that are unvaccinated, okay? Are they misogynistic as well, right? I wonder, right? Like, why is he just throwing out these terms to describe unvaccinated people that I really don't think would fit even the woke left's definition of racist or misogynist, okay? I'm just saying, I find that to be interesting. It's almost like the woke left believes if you don't agree with me, then you're a bigot, right? Regardless of whether or not you're actually a bigot, you're just a bigot if you don't agree with me. It doesn't matter what your race or your sex is. But the real irony here, guys, is the fact that he is saying this as COVID cases are surging, particularly in Quebec. And just wait till you find out who makes up a large majority of the new cases in Quebec. Take a look.
Good afternoon. Quebec is reporting another record number of COVID-19 cases, with more than 14,000 cases. And it comes as the Premier is set to speak to Quebecers at 5 o'clock today. And Matt, François Legault will be joined by the Health Minister and Director of Public Health.
That's right. Christian Dubé and Dr. Horacio Arruda will join the Premier. There are reports circulating that more restrictions will be announced. La Presse is reporting that a curfew is on the table. It's not a guarantee at this point, but there are talks about bringing it back. The curfew would start at either 9 or 10 p.m. and last until 5 in the morning. There are also reports of restaurants being shut down completely. Bubbles are also expected to be restricted. As it stands, 2 bubbles can get together or 6 people, but the expectation is that that will also change and the number will be reduced. Children were expected to return to class January 10th. That will also be delayed another week until January 17th. Now, a lot of these measures sound a lot like what Quebec went through in previous waves, especially when it comes to the curfew. This was a measure put in place in January 2021 when Quebec was struggling to control case numbers and hospitalizations. The curfew was eventually lifted in late May. Now, there's a lot of anticipation heading into tonight's news conference. Here's some reaction out on the street this morning.
I'm really sad for restaurants and all the business people, but the situation is alarming. It's overwhelming. It's all over the world. And it seems, yes, it's a déjà vu, but what can we do? We just have to be patient to accept the consequences of a pandemic.
Well, for sure it's going to be more difficult for shopping, for Christmas shopping, but we'll get used to it. We went through the first one, so we'll go through the second one as well.
Some of the latest projections from Quebec's Institute of Excellence in Health and Social Services show that hospitalizations could surpass 2,000 within 3 weeks, and there could be 375 people in ICU. But the Institute points out this increase could be slowed by the recent health restrictions that were announced and if vaccination picks up. Now, we will have live coverage of the Premier's press conference on CTV News at 5, also on our website, ctvnewsmontreal.ca.
All right, guys, so you've seen that, you heard that, right? New record-breaking cases going on in Quebec, okay? Now, let's read this, okay? Read this. This is going to blow your mind, right? This is going to blow your mind. Of the new cases, Thursday, 11,262 people, 75.8% were double vaccinated when they received their positive test result. 75.8% of the new cases on Thursday, the new cases, 75% were double vaccinated. I'm not making that up. That is coming from Montreal News, okay? But Justin Trudeau is saying that unvaccinated people are what is keeping us from going back to normal life. Okay, does that make sense to like just the average person, right? Like, what sense does that make? Okay, let's read a little bit more here. 2,324 people, 18.4% were unvaccinated or received 1 dose of the vaccine less than 2 weeks prior, and 602, 5.7% received 1 dose of the vaccine more than 2 weeks prior. Quebec says that 6,482,389 people are double vaccinated and 1,572,754 are unvaccinated. So about 80% of Quebec's population are vaccinated. Again, I don't understand for the life of me why these politicians believe with these numbers, right? With the numbers that we're saying. Yeah, this is not just happening in Quebec. This is also happening in New York, right? It's happening in other places. With the numbers that we're saying, with the reality of the situation, do you really think that you can convince unvaccinated people to get vaccinated by demonizing them as racist, misogynist extremists who allegedly are keeping us from going back to normal with these numbers, right? These numbers that we're saying. Again, do you think that's going to make sense to the average person, right? You think this is going to make sense? I don't think so, right? I really don't think so. You know, these politicians, it's a good thing they didn't work for advertising or marketing firms because they really, really suck at advertising the vaccine. They really do. They really suck at it. Okay, and I think that's why they have to do mandates, right? Because otherwise they really suck at marketing, okay? They really do. But, you know, overall, guys, I'm just sick and tired of the division in our society being caused by these politicians. Coming out here unnecessarily demonizing people, right? Calling them racist, sexist, bigots, whatever, simply because they don't agree with their policies, right? Simply because people don't want to do what you tell them to do. oh, you're a racist, sexist, bigot. It has nothing to do with that, right? These people are making a medical decision with their life, right? It's their life. They can make whatever medical decisions they want to make. And the way to convince them is it's not to come out here and to demonize them as things that they aren't, especially when you don't have any proof. The way is to properly tell people and give them the proper expectations about the benefits of the vaccine. That's where a lot of these people messed up, right, from the get-go. But it's to let the data speak for itself, right, with proper expectations about what the benefits of the vaccine are. That's what you should do, and you let people make their own decisions, right? Let people make their own decisions with their lives. And regardless of what you say, there will be some people just like, nah, I'm just not going to do it, right? But you have to live with that, right? Because that is the essence of freedom. You have to live with people like that, okay? It is what it is. But what you don't do is you don't smear those people as racist, sexist, bigots, misogynists just because they don't want to participate in your medical procedure. It's not what you do. It's not what you do. You stand up for freedom. You stand up for liberty. Okay? But a lot of these leaders, guys, have become power hungry. Okay? They become authoritarians to the point where they're trying to turn society against those people. When Justin Trudeau comes out here and says that, right? Biden has probably said similar things about unvaccinated people too, right? Your time's up, right? You're the reason why we're still in this pandemic, okay? It's all your fault. All the deaths are your fault. When they say stuff like that, guys, it is to cause division, okay? When they say that you're racist, you're misogynist because you're unvaccinated, again, it's to cause division. It's to stir hate. It is to get people to turn on each other, okay? That's what it's for. That's all these politicians are really good for, really, is causing more division. And that's what really upsets me when I hear stuff like this. Because, you know, even though this is Canada, Canada ain't too far off from the U.S., right? They ain't all that much different. They're a whole lot further left, but they ain't that much different culturally, okay? And this stuff seems to trickle down. And when you have leaders like this that's just north of the border saying stuff like this, stuff that has been repeated by mainstream level media, CNN, MSNBC, it's concerning. It's concerning. Because at the end of the day, I mean, there's just some people that will not be convinced no matter what you say. And what you really get from demonizing those people is just more division, right? That's what you really get. You're not actually going to achieve the result that you say that you want to achieve, but you're really just going to, again, cause more problems in society. That's what happens. So, you know, I don't know why. I really don't understand why people on the left think that this strategy of demonization is going to convince people to go along with this. I really don't understand. I really don't get it. But I think what's even more sad to see is that there are people that are just, you know, signing up for these lockdowns and these mandates thinking that, oh, if we just wait a little bit longer, right, we're going to get our freedom back, okay? We're going to get our freedom back. We can get our lives back. And what they don't realize is that regardless of what happens with this virus, you don't get your freedom back, right? Because you've already given the government the permission to take your freedom and your rights. So you're not getting that back. The government never relinquishes power, okay? Government never relinquishes power. They never get smaller. They always get bigger. So, hey, it is what it is. What do I know? Let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.